Hey there, future fellow weirdo of the pod. Welcome to the most offensive church this side of the universe, the party pit. And what we do here is we read this great ass book. It's called God Said, because they did not fucking say that. This is God's unofficial biography, Das Bible. Well, actually, it's book 2 of the trilogy. It is the story of God the Third, Jesus. Yeah. So, come along and join this tour with me. We are in the middle of the third leg of his tour. We're in the middle of it. And yeah, no, we're in the middle of it, and it should be fun. So, oh, look, I just fucked this whole thing up because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, except for yes, I do. Kind of, sort of know what's going on, but really, I don't. I don't know what's happening. But that's okay because I do know what we're doing. We are reading book 2. We are on Luke's version of Jesus' tour. So let's go on this journey with Jesus. Yeah, I know I've missed the Psalms and Proverbs a couple days, but I got so much shit going on and so many phone calls to make. I have no idea, man. Okay, so we I'm on the wrong screen. We are on chapter 7. Yay. And we left off Jesus speaking riddles. So we're picking up and Jesus not speaking riddles. Well, looks like Jesus doesn't talk at all for a little bit. So let's see the sensationalism from journalist known as director Dr. Luke. Now, when he concluded all his sayings in the hearing of the people, he entered Capernaum, and certain centurion's servant, who was dear to him, was sick and ready to die. When he heard about Jesus, he sent elders of Das Juden to help him, pleading with him. But they don't try to save Jesus. They ask him for his help, but don't try to save him. These people are fucking terrible. And if they can do this to Jesus, they can do it to you. They could do it to anybody they want to. Yep. Anyway, so the guy came. Uh, the guy sent dudes to talk to Jesus. And when they came to Jesus, they begged him earnestly, saying that the one for whom he should do this was deserving, for he loves the nation and built us a synagogue. But they had God's tent. See, this kind of shit is why God couch surfs and why David wanted to build him a house so bad. Oh, wait, never mind. This is after that. I forgot. This book too. Yep. So, never mind what I was saying. I don't know what that music is because I'm not playing any music. I don't know. Uh-oh. Okay. So, Jesus went with them, and then he was already not far from the house. The centurion sent his friends. Uh-oh. It's the other cat. The other boy cat snuck in. They do that, but good thing Jack hasn't noticed. Well, Jack probably wouldn't do anything anyway. He's an old boy. He's like, I don't know, 4 or 5. He's getting too old to mess around with these young boy cats. But this boy cat is not built for fighting, the one that snuck in. He's not built for fighting. He's too small. Okay. Anyway, he said, sorry, it's 11. I was supposed to be doing this at 10:30, but I'm super late. So my alarm would be going off to end, but it's not. Anyway, I'm talking too much. There's too much going on. Okay. So the dude sent them to go get them. And then he said, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy. You should enter under my roof. Therefore, I did not even think myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed. Because racism, it all boils down to racism. Because my people hate your kind. Because that's real racism, where they won't even let you come in their house. You know, where they turn you away because you're different than them. It's kind of like the church. The church does the same thing. If you're not pretend, they kick you out because, you know, they're too pretend to hang out with somebody that's real. Yeah, real life needs to happen in a lot of places. You know, real life. Okay. Okay, racism. Then, when Jesus heard these things, he marveled and turned around and said to the crowd, this guy has faith that I don't see from any of you. Yeah, why am I reading this in God voice? I don't know, but I love God voice. That's totally my bad.
Yeah, totally my bad. I should not be reading this in God voice, but I read it in God voice. Then and he said, "Hey, you guys don't have faith like this guy." And those who were sent, returning to the house, found the servant well who had been sick. Now, it happened the day after that he went into the city called Nain, and many of his disciples went with him in a large crowd. And when he came near the gate of the city, behold, a dead man was being carried about, the only one of his mother, and she was a widow. And a large crowd gathered from the city with her. When the Lord saw her, he had compassion, and he was like, "Don't worry about it." Then he came and touched the open coffin, and those who carried him stood still. And he was like, "Stop sleeping." So he who was dead sat up because he quit speaking. And then Jesus presented him to his mother, like, ta da! Yeah, that was the thing that happened. Okay. Then fear came upon all, and they glorified God, saying, "A great prophet has risen up among us, and God has visited his people." And the report about him went throughout all Judea and the surrounding region. And then his disciples said, "Jesus, this is so long. Jesus, just say it plainly because you talk too long." Uh, man, well, maybe not talk too long, but you talk too much. Well, I guess that would mean you talk too long. But man, Jesus, you talk a lot. They didn't say that. Okay. Um, okay. Then the disciples of John reported to him concerning all these things. And John, calling two of his disciples, and sent them to Jesus, saying, "Are you the coming one, or should we look for another?" John the Baptist baptized Jesus, and he saw that thing with the bird also. So I don't know why he's asking this. Yeah, I don't know why he's asking this. And wasn't John already beheaded? I don't remember. But I think he was beheaded at, right after Jesus' baptism or something, is what I thought is what it said. But I don't remember. Then the men came to Jesus and said, um, "John sent us to you, wanting to know if you're the Christ. And that very hour he cured many of infirmities, afflictions, evil spirits, and too many blind he gave sight." I don't know what too many blind means, but okay. Oh, never mind. I read that wrong. And too many, like too many people, too many blind people, He gave sight. Okay, that's written wrong. He gave sight to many blind people. And then Jesus was like, go tell John the things you've seen and heard, that the blind see, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised. The poor are given the gospel preached to them, and blessed is he who is not offended because of me. Yay! So, the messengers of John left, and Jesus began to speak to the multitudes about John le Baptiste. So, what did you go to the wilderness to see? A reed shaken by the wind? What did you go out to see? A man clothed in soft garments? But those who are gorgeously apparelled live in luxury, are in king's courts. But what did you go see? A prophet? Yes, more than a prophet. This is of whom it is written.
Behold, I send my messenger before your face, who will prepare a way before you.
Okay. For I say to you, among those born of women, there is not a greater prophet than John. But he who is least in the kingdom is even greater than him. And when all the people heard him, even the tax collectors justified God, having been baptized with the baptism of John. But the Pharisees and lawyers rejected the will of God for themselves, not having been baptized by him. And the Lord said, to what shall I liken the men to this generation? What are they like? They're like children sitting in the marketplace and calling to another, saying, we played the flute for you, and you did not dance. We mourned, and you did not weep. But John came neither eating bread nor drinking wine, and you say he has a demon. The Son of Man comes eating and drinking, and you say a glutton, a wine bibber, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is justified by all her children. Then one of the Pharisees asked him to eat with him. So he went to the Pharisee's house and sat down to eat. And behold, a woman in a city who was a sinner. She knew Jesus sat at the table in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster flask of fragrant oil, and stood at his feet behind him weeping. And she began to wash his feet with her tears and wiped them with the hair of her head. And she kissed his feet and anointed them with oil. Now, when the Pharisee who had invited him saw this and spoke to himself, if he were a prophet, he would know what manner of woman this is who is touching him. Hi, people. Thank you for coming. This is a Bible channel. I am right now for this hour reading the story of Jesus. We are almost done. So if you want to stay for that, feel free. If you do not want to stay for that, that is also okay. But I am just about to finish up with this story. So if you want to talk, feel free to stay. I will talk with you or whatever. I'll hang out with you. I don't mind. Okay. She, he would know what kind of woman she was. She's a sinner. But Jesus said, I gotta tell you something. And the guy was like, okay. And Jesus was like, there was a certain creditor who had two debtors. One owed $500 and the other 50. And when they had nothing with which to repay, he freely forgave them both. Tell me, therefore, which one of them will love more? And Simon answered, I suppose the one he forgave many. Hi, good morning. Thank you for rating my channel. I appreciate that. But we're almost done. Jesus talks a way lot. That's why this takes so long. Because like Jesus talks so much for real. It's like, just be quiet for 1 second. I need to read this. Jesus, you take too long. Okay. And the guy was like the one who forgave more. And he said, you have rightly judged. Then he turned to the woman and said to Simon, you see her? I entered your house, and you gave me no water for my feet. But she has washed my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You gave me no kiss, but this woman has kissed my feet since the time I came in. You did not anoint my head, but this woman anointed my feet. Therefore, I say to you, her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loved much. But to whom, little is forgiven, the same loves little. Then he said to her, you're fine, go ahead. And those who sat at the table began to say, who is this who has forgiven sins? Then he said to the woman, your faith has saved you. Go in peace. All right, that's the end of chapter 7 of Luke and the trilogy known as God Said What. So thank you for rating my channel and coming in. Does anybody got anything on their mind? I know you guys weren't here for the whole story, so I won't even ask you about it. But I will ask you what's on your mind if you're still here. And talk with me and let me earn that red pill and then give me the red pill. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know what's happening. I think I know. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, there's a lot of people here. Okay. So does everybody have me on mute? Well, that's okay. Also, that is totally okay. Uh, yeah, but if everybody is bored, I am also bored. And I think Dustin's playing a video game, and I still got a bunch of dishes and laundry to do. So I probably should get off here also. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to tell you, have the greatest day ever. Don't forget to do your housework. Don't be a terrible wife or husband. Just do the housework. It'll be fine. You're not gonna die. I'm mostly saying that to myself. I'm not gonna die if I clean my house. But I am a really bad housewife and I'm really bad at chores. But I'm at least gonna wash my dishes and switch my laundry because I'm not that big of a piece of shit. I need to do things. Anyway, thank you all for watching. And if you watch this on the replay crew, just in case you do, watch it at 2 times speed because when the video's done, for some reason my voice slows down. I don't know what the fuck that is, but it only happens, I've noticed, on my channel. So if by chance you watch this on replay, watch it at 2 times speed.